What is going on, everyone? Maiko here live on YouTube, and of course, those watching archived. I'm joined by Ray from Philly. Ray, what is going on?
What's going on, Mike?
Not a whole
You
lot,
sl-
just fired up for the 2023
Yep.
Major League Baseball season. Tomorrow is like one of those days, right? There's a handful of
Yeah.
days during the year that you just wake up and have that different type of energy. To me, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you had like 2 hours sleep or 8 hours sleep. You got that excitement. You got like Christmas Day. You've got opening day of baseball.
hmm
Biased thoughts, perhaps, but should be a holiday for sure. It's a holiday in my
Uh,
mind.
Without a doubt. I mean, my boss today said everybody can wear Phillies red tomorrow, so I'll be wearing my Michael Jack Schmidt jersey, of course. And but yeah, no, it's a big day. Phillies coming off a big year last year. We've been anticipating. I'm ready to go, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like you and I were both Phillies fans. So, of course, we're psyched up for the Philly season, especially after that incredible run last year.
Yeah.
But we're also both fans of the sport of baseball. We like to watch the games. It kind of doesn't matter who's playing. We like the players, we like the teams, we like to see how things are going. We appreciate the history of baseball. And this is the start of another chapter in the history of baseball, season after season. Um, you
Yeah.
have things going on. So that kind of coincides with the hobby that we're both passionate about, collecting sports cards, but even more so baseball cards specifically. And it's awesome. It enhances the fun of
Yeah.
collecting the cards too, just kind of seeing what's happening, looking towards milestones, seeing how players perform, whether you're into the prospects to see how guys develop or the modern day superstars, guys who, are trying to make that case for the Hall of Fame potentially. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Now, especially with the pandemic kind of behind us now, it's feeling regular again. I know we had a full season last year, but now we're really having another full season. You know, there was a delay with the strike and so forth. It just feels like this year's fully 100% back to normal. So the winters are always long. So now that I'm just so psyched for the start of baseball. It's like a whole new chapter. It's a new day. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know. It's just, I guess people are getting more used to it. So I feel like more people are comfortable with going to games and such. And
Oh
it's,
yeah.
it's been, it's been a while since I've been able to consistently go to games. Last year, I only made it to 2 games. 2 years ago, I made it to 1 game. So this year, hopefully, I'll be able to get to more. I'm looking forward to.
hmm
I know my nephew's like excited to go to a game and such. So like some big
Yeah.
family outings and things like that. So it should be
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
incredible amount of fun this year.
Yeah, we're all chomping at the bit right now. We meaning like the whole country. So it's definitely a much more sense of normalcy now with playing and regular schedules. And I don't think we're going to be hearing too much if this player's out due to COVID illness. I mean, you might, but nowhere near as much as in 21. And I think sporadically maybe we heard it in 22. It just feels like we're back now. Baseball's back.
All right.
All right, it looks like we're back. So I thought the problems were solved. I've been having a lot of internet problems tonight, and it looks like it kicked us out for a minute or two. So hopefully, things resolve themselves and stay kind of okay. But Dave today is thankfully wearing his Yankees hat.
Oh,
I
thank
know
God.
a lot of people probably don't like the Yankees hat, but he was dressed all in Mets gear the other night on Big
Oh,
Scott 35's channel. So this is a vast improvement.
Yeah, I thought it'd be nice to you tonight and wear the Yankees since I'm on your channel and still yo go Mets though.
Of course. Dave, what do you think? Opening days tomorrow. You excited to get back to another baseball season?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little disappointed last year with the Mets not getting past the first round, and then Yankees just not getting it done. So, um, I'm looking forward a little more to the Mets season this year. I think we'll be a little bit better, and I think it'll be good. So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, first of all, the teams we root for all should be pretty good. The Phillies, obviously had that great run last year, made some improvements. Of course, they sustained some injuries during spring training that's concerning, but they're expected to be a postseason team, and they've now had that recent success in the postseason. So they look like the type of team that could compete, for a pennant, for a World Series. The Mets, of course, biggest payroll in baseball. They had an incredible regular season last year. They're expected to be right there as well. It's kind of weird, the East. I think the Phillies, odds-wise, in most picks are expected to be a playoff team, but most people think they're going to be in that second or third place range. Meanwhile, the Mets are more the second place or first place team because, of course, Atlanta is good as well. And then the Yankees are always right there. They're in the playoff hunt, 2 decades in a row at this point. And last year, they, were one of the final 4 teams, even though it didn't feel that way because they just were so uncompetitive against the Astros. Obviously, they got their way in the playoffs before that point, but Houston's just so good. And it never felt like they were in that series.
well, I think last year the Yankees started off so hot, and they won a lot of games, and they didn't play very good. I don't think in the second half. So that they were already on a downslide going into the playoffs. So, and I don't think none of them really were hitting very good last year at all, except for Judge. If you look at the Yankees lineup, it wasn't that scary. Besides Judge, really. So once they kind of stopped scoring runs, they were in some trouble. Where Houston's just been all around great.
Yeah, and Houston's got an excellent pitching staff. The Yankees lineup was the type of lineup that could do some damage against a mediocre or poor pitching staff, but a really, really good pitching staff. They were going to have a lot of trouble with it. Appreciate those who are watching live. Of course, those who watch the archive as well. But we got WVogs18. What's up? And Staven Sports Cards. What's going on, man? So since we talked a little bit about the Yankees, how about Aaron Judge? Historic season last year. Absolutely incredible. 62 home runs. Nearly won the Triple Crown. Dave, were you ever nervous that he was going to bounce out of New York this offseason?
No, they weren't going to let that happen. There was no way he was leaving New York. They're not going to let that stuff happen. So,
especially when San Francisco was the team they were talking about, and they've been second place in like every free agent they've been attempting to acquire the last several years. But it would have been really, really weird. He's one of those few players that you have a hard time currently in baseball envisioning playing for another team. And that would have been really bad for his personal brand, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's so much money to be made like in New York, unless you're going to like LA to get that LA money. But Judge, yeah, he's going to be probably Yankee for life, and he's just one of those guys that aren't one of those come and go guys, at least in my opinion.
What kind of season do you think we're having this year with Aaron Judge?
So I doubt he's going to hit 62 home runs, but you never know. I'm thinking he'll be in the 40s, probably 45, maybe closer to 50, but probably more of the 45 range. Definitely well over 100 RBIs, and I don't know if he'll hit 300 again, but it'll be probably pretty close. He's a pretty good hitter, so 285, 290 maybe. I think I'll have a great year. It just won't be, the same.
Yeah, you got to get on a couple big-time rolls to hit 60 home runs. What do you think, Ray? As a baseball historian, that was obviously one of the prolific offensive years in baseball history, especially if you kind of take out the era of the 90s where that happened a lot. Kind of odd that it happened so much in a matter of a few years. Everyone has their thoughts. I think most of us know why so many guys hit that many home runs. But what do you think about Judge's season last year? What do you expect this year?
His season was phenomenal last year, but I'm right on board with Dave. I think he's going to have a very, very good year. I just don't see 60 plus again. He's capable, absolutely, of doing that, but it's highly unlikely. I have him around in the 40s, 42 to 45 range, 110, 115 RBIs. Yeah, nothing to sneeze at. I think anybody in the league would take those numbers. 40 to 245 homers and 115 RBIs, 290 to 300 average is still a great year. So it was refreshing to see a player hit 62 homers that there was um, no questions of anything spiraling around his reputation like what we had with McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds. It was just fun watching someone just tear the cover off the ball all year consistently. I think.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Right.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, but I agree. I think he's going to take a step down this year, but that step down is still MVP-ish type of a year.
Yeah, and even though he got the big contract, I don't think he's. It's unlike other free agents that get the contract where they're whatever they're doing in the off season. They usually that first season's kind of not very good, and then they come into their own in the second and third year. Judge is already there, so he's just going to keep going the way he's going. I don't see him just being super downfall because he got his money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it all depends just kind of how the season flows, how healthy you stay, what kind of pitching you see, what kind of help you get around the lineup, playing in competitive games. But I kind of agree. He's probably going to drop off by about 15 home runs, but that doesn't mean he's
and
not
it's
having
still going
a
to
great
be better
year.
than anyone else.
Yeah, I think he's going to hit 40 to 50. He could flirt with 50 for sure, 100 RBIs. I mean, he hit 311 last year. He stole 16 bases, which is kind of surprising. One more thing on Aaron Judge. Obviously, he's highly coveted in the hobby. He's been one of the hotter modern players in the hobby. Ohtani probably gets the most attention. Of course, Trout. Judge is right there, though. Sustaining that type of hobby love long term generally means you have to be an iconic player who's just completely beloved by fans, because not everyone's a Hall of Famer, Bo Jackson, Don Mattingly, or a Hall of Famer. Do you guys think, I mean, he's only 7 years into his career, but he is 30 years old. He's a big guy. What do you think the odds are he finds his way to Cooperstown someday? Because I would think that season last year should help him quite a bit, even if his numbers career-wise fall a little short.
Well, I think if he's got to hit some of the milestones for at least the home runs. If he gets close up to that 500 mark, I mean, he is a little older, but it can be done because he hits so many per year. I think if he gets into the 450 to 500 range, has another 5 really good solid seasons, and then ends his career, obviously it's going to be on the downside once you get into that upper 30s. But if he can still hit some bombs there too, just kind of hitting those numbers, I think he is a chance. I don't think he had a good rookie year and he kind of slid back a little bit right afterwards. But if he can continue to last like this last year and the year after or year before, I think he has a shot.
Yeah, he's had about 220 home runs to this point in his career, only through 7 seasons or so. But like I said, 30 years old. What he signed a 10-year contract, so he's gonna be around for a little while. Obviously, it's just how healthy can you stay. Obviously, different players age in different ways. I mean, Ryan Howard signed a big extension, got hurt, never recovered. That really hurt him, and he had obviously some incredible seasons. Judge has only 2 years where he's over 50 home runs. He's got 27 twice where he had some injuries. So he's really only had over 500 at-bats 3 times, 400 4 times, but he still found a way to compile 220 home runs. So I think if he can get to that 450 range, I think helping the Yankees win a World Series at some point would help as well. But just being a longtime Yankee, an all-time kind of Yankee in terms of being a fan favorite, I think should help him out a little bit.
Well, he has 220 homers. He'll be 31 in April. And I have this benchmark of, you know, a player has got to have 250 by the age of 30. And he's really 31 at 220. So he's not that far behind that, but he did have a huge help from last year. If you look at that, yeah, he's definitely capable of getting the 500. The only question is can he stay healthy? And if he could stay healthy, he needs 5 healthy seasons. He doesn't need 60 homer seasons. He needs 35. I'd say at least 35 plus homers 5 times. And that's the question mark. Can he stay healthy? He's a big dude. He's like 6'8", 270, something like that. And I just worry about not that I'm rooting against him. I just think, he's only played a couple of seasons where he's played in seniors. The other years was.
I think we lost Ray.
It sounds like
I don't
he's
know.
fading
If
out.
I,
There we
go
go.
by the pass, it's going to be really tough.
It will be. It's going to be tough for him, of course. But again, I think the impact of baseball, and we'll see how voters go in the future. A lot of it's going analytical and stuff. Can he do enough with that? I personally am someone who's more pro like what you do for baseball as opposed to the longevity and all the compilation of stats. I think Don Mattingly and Roger Maris and a few of those guys are more impactful than some of the guys who, just hang around for a really long time and compile numbers. But shout out to Aaron Jones. Good luck to your Brewers this year. Mike, This Baseball Card Life, what's up? Hopefully your Cleveland Guardians
Mike
can stay healthy and do well. Obviously, Tristan McKenzie, big injury. He wants to know, will you guys separate the stolen base stats pre-2023, post-2023, or 2023 and beyond with the bigger bases and the different rules? For me, it's not going to be a big deal. I don't think the stolen base numbers are going to reach the levels that they were back in the day. I still think guys are going to be hesitant to run. Some guys, it will help them, of course, but I don't think we're getting some Ricky Henderson 100 stolen base seasons. At least that's my opinion.
No, I think there's going to be an increase in stolen bases. The pitcher can only go over to first base a certain amount of times, right? 2 times. Doesn't mean he can't go more than 2 times, but if he doesn't get it on the third attempt, I think they're chalking that up as a balk or something. So the guys are going to have bigger leads. I think it's going to go up. Like if a guy had 35 stolen bases last year, I could see him getting maybe 45 stolen bases. So I do see slight increases across the board. But the days of Henderson and Tim Raines and Willie McGee and Vince Coleman, I don't think we're seeing that. But it's going to be a bump up for sure, which is good. It's good for the game.
Yeah, they want to see some action. Steven Sports Cards wants to know, with no-hitters being devalued lately, obviously we have a whole lot of combined no-hitters, more so than ever before. Do you think the pitch clock will make it easier or harder for pitchers to accomplish a no-hitter or a perfect game?
Harder for me. I think it's going to be harder for him.
Right now, early in the year, like, I don't know that it'll be easier, but they might have the advantage of, some hitters not really being ready to be set. So, there's so many guys that take forever to get ready, but generally speaking, I would think it'd be a little more difficult to kind of collect your thoughts, especially in that very big moment.
Right. It's going to be tough either way. It's going to be tougher for the hitters because they're going to be feeling rushed. They go through their ritual. It's going to be tougher for the pitchers because they're going to be feeling rushed. So I think in the beginning, I don't know, it's going to be tough both ways. I don't think you're going to see a no-hitter in the first half of the season. But once these guys, they're professionals. Once they get down the rhythm of the game by the second half, it could be how it was before, where you'll get your normal amount of no-hitters per year. But I think first half of it's going to be adjusting, a lot of adjustments going on. So we'll say, yeah, I think both. It's going to be an adjustment for both sides, the hitters and the pitchers for sure.
I think they'll adjust in time, though, and I do think overall it will help the flow of games a little bit. Hopefully it won't be too messy, but supposedly,
God,
and
yeah.
again, the minor league guys obviously don't have as much time in baseball, so I think it's a little more difficult for, these guys have been around for 5, 10, 15 years that aren't used to it, but supposedly guys got accustomed to it fairly
Right.
quickly during the minor league trials. Then again, it's minor league trials.
Right.
All right, Ray, I know you wanted to make some predictions. You got some division winners. What do you think?
Yeah, well, for the National League East, I can't show my homerism, so I'm going with the Braves winning the East. Then I'm going with the Cardinals winning the Central and the Padres winning the West. And then the last 3 playoff spots I have is the Mets, the Phillies, and the Dodgers. So they're my 6 teams in the National League. So I think the Phillies and the Mets are going to battle for second place. I think the Braves are a little bit more consistent across the board. So I don't think the Braves, nobody in the Eastern Division is going to have a 95-plus win season. I just don't see it.
It's going to be more difficult this year because you're not playing the division as much. So you can't beat up on the Nationals and Marlins. I mean,
Right.
You get to play some other bad teams. I know for the Phillies, though, like last year was weird. Like Phillies were 0-6 against the Cubs, who weren't very good, and they were 0-6 against the Texas Rangers somehow. Not sure how that happened, but that was a little rough too. Hopefully, payback comes starting tomorrow.
Yeah. I think. I think the East is going to be one with low 90s, so like 92 wins. And the Phillies last year had 87 wins. I think they're going to get a couple wins higher with 89. And a month ago, I had the Mets definitely winning the division, but I think the Diaz injury is a little more important than people might think. When you have a lead at the end of the game and you lose your best closer, I think that's going to bring him. I had them with 95 wins a month ago, and now with Diaz gone for the year, I think they're going to be battling for second place with the Phils. I think that's a pretty big injury.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how badly it affects them. I think for the full season, it's definitely problematic. I do expect them to go out and acquire someone at some point. Like David Robertson, I believe, is going to start the year as their closer, and he had some success in Philadelphia with the Phillies, and then he kind of went through some struggles, and he is older, so how healthy will he be? But I would also expect the Mets to go out there and acquire kind of whoever they want if the need comes.
But for the, I have my predictions for the American League. If you want to.
Well, let's it, Dave. You want to? You have any predictions you want to share? I know we shared some thoughts on the Big Scott 35 channel. I see Big Scott is in here, so if you guys want some in-depth thoughts on baseball, you can also check out Big Scott 35's Let's Talk season preview as well.
So I'm all in on the Mets winning the division, so I'm not even. It's happening. Cardinals, I agree with that one. I think they're going to win that division. And I still think the Dodgers are still going to take down the West. I think they're still pretty loaded. Padres, I just would be concerned about their pitching. I think they're still going to be wild card for sure. Their lineup is too good. But I still think it's going to be Mets, Cardinals, and Dodgers.
It does feel like the playoff teams feel set, which might set us up for just a big surprise. Because the 6 that you guys meant, like they are like that's
last
what
year's.
everyone's picking, and that's who made it. The Brewers are right there. Like the Brewers have a shot. They have a really good pitching staff. They just kind of light offensively, and it's last year it felt like it was there for them, and they just couldn't quite get it done. So it's hard to trust them. Arizona's kind of up and coming. They have some really good pieces, but they are young, so you don't expect it. But sometimes these teams play over their head and can make it. So obviously, it's important for the teams we mentioned to have big years.
Yeah.
I mean, the East could go a bunch of different ways. I felt a little bit better about the Phillies before the injuries. I mean, I still think they'll be a playoff team, and I think they are capable of winning the division. I would lean a little bit towards the Braves right now, but I think it'd be a game or two between the Braves and Mets. And
It's going to be
honestly,
really close.
and I would think the Phillies would be right. Like I think those three teams could easily be separated by 5 teams for sure. It might depend on how they play against each other, which is what it came down to last year. The Mets struggled in the last few times they played the Braves. I agree with
that last series they had.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Mets just had to beat them like once, and then they got swept or something. So
I certainly agree with the Cardinals. The Cardinals they're always good. I mean, they have a down year here. When's the last time the Cardinals were like really, really bad? Like when's the last time they won like 65 games? I feel like it's been an eternity.
It's been a while.
So, and obviously they have a really good team, so I would expect them. I think the Padres are really good. I think they have some good pieces. I certainly trust the Dodgers a little more. Again, I think they'll be neck and neck for portions of the season. It's just going to kind of come down to health. So if I had to make a pick, I'd pick the Dodgers, but I think the Padres certainly are capable of winning that division.
I think the Padres just have a better lineup than the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers.
I mean, they do. I mean, Soto when healthy, Bogarts, Machado, and Tatis when he comes back. I mean, that's like a crazy 4. And they do have depth. They do have a pretty good lineup straight through, but we'll see. I mean, you'd like to win the division, but we saw last year just get in and you got a shot. So I kind of do have that feeling we're going to have the same crew of playoff teams back. Just kind of
for sure. It's just going to be a matter of these same teams are going to. The Eastern Division is going to be all those 3 teams are going to be within less than 5 games of each other. They're all going to be between 89 to 92 wins. I can't see anybody having a 95 plus win season because they're all 3 are good. So you could have Phillies, Mets, Braves, Phillies. Those are the 3 getting in, but I think it's going to be so tight in the East.
It'll come down to September. Who's hot
Absolutely,
at the end?
Yeah. Whoever's the healthiest at the end of the year, whoever's going into September the hottest, which is how the Phillies really got on their roll. I mean, they had a very good month of September, starting with this Houston series in the beginning of September. Nola went down there and pitched, and we had a pretty darn good month of September. September is where you could tell, the teams that are going to go far. I've seen teams have great Mays and Junes and, do nothing but whoever's the hottest in September.
Well, all 3 of those teams are going to not be fearful of making a move either, because the Mets, obviously Steve Cohen wants to win.
Right.
Like he will throw whatever. He'll eat a contract to take on a really good young player. The Braves, like you don't really think of them as a crazy active team. Like I don't feel like they stand up, but like they're constantly making moves and make sneaky good moves all the time. And Dombrowski is very ambitious with the moves as well. And, they had that taste and they want to get back. So I think if they have a deficiency, if they sustain more injuries, I think all 3 teams, specifically by the deadline, will find a way to make moves for sure. Hey, who knows?
Definitely.
Maybe late in the year, maybe Christian Pache, comes up and has a big hit for the Phillies against the Braves in a meaningful game. Maybe he finally makes his mark in the majors. We'll see. I wouldn't count on it, though. All right, Ray, why don't you give us your thoughts on the American League, which, there's a lot of really good teams there, but there's a little more uncertainty with the American League as opposed to the National League.
I love everybody's picking the Yankees to win the East. I love the Blue Jays this year. I'm all on board with the Toronto Blue Jays. I think their lineup is good. I love their number one pitcher, Manoah. I think his name is Alec Manoah. I got the Blue Jays winning the Eastern Division, and the Central Division. I have the Cleveland Guardians, and the Western Division. Yeah, I got three teams coming out of the West. I think the Astros. I don't have them going back to the World Series, but I do have the Astros winning the division, and then I have the Yankees getting the wild card. And the other two wild cards are going to be from the AL West. It's going to be the Mariners and Mike Trout's finally going to get into playoffs. I think the Angels are finally going to get into playoffs this year. And I'll tell you why. A couple things. Trout and Ohtani in the World Baseball Classic getting a taste of being in a big stage thing. Trout got a little taste of it now. And I think people are really down on this other guy, Anthony Rendon. Him coming back, I think, is really going to help. Tyler Anderson, they picked up a pitcher from the Dodgers, is really, really good. I don't think anybody from the Central, like the Twins or anybody else below the Guardians, are going to get that last playoff spot. And my shocker is going to be not that the Angels are going to do anything in the playoffs, but I have the Angels finally making the playoffs. So Blue Jays, Yankees, Guardians, Astros, Mariners, Angels.
Interesting picks from Ray from Philly. So I think the AL East is hard to predict. Obviously, people are going to pick the Yankees, and I think the Yankees are very good. I think the Yankees are capable of winning 100 games. I think they're capable of having a rough year, and a rough year for them is probably like 86, 87 wins. So I expect the Yankees to be right there. Tampa Bay, you have to always respect. They do have a lot of good young players. They always have really good pitching. They might be a bunch of guys that you've never heard of. They find a way to get it done year in and year out. I feel like a bad year for Tampa Bay at this point. It's like 82 wins, so they should be in it. Boston's weird because I think they're probably the least talented overall team, but they seem to have like that every other year thing going, so I certainly wouldn't count them out. Baltimore's lineup is really good and really young. The pitching staff's going to struggle. And the Blue Jays, like you said, are just super full of talent. They were probably one of the more disappointing teams last year. They just never really got it going. So it's hard for me to make a pick. I would think it'd be between the Yankees and Blue Jays personally, but again, you can't really count out Tampa. I think the Orioles will have their moments. I think they'll ultimately probably fall a little short this year. They're probably a year away. There's some pitchers away, but that's going to be a super competitive and fun division. Yeah. What do you think,
and
Dave?
It's good to see the Orioles competing.
Well, I mean, I think that Ohtani is going to be in some pinstripes and playing in the Bronx at the trade deadline.
Well, in that case, perhaps the Yankees will take over the Blue Jays.
Then I take the Angels out of my playoff spot.
Yeah, you probably should. I don't even know if my Trout will be there either. Trade them both.
He could end up in Philly. Definitely could happen.
Yankees or Blue Jays should take the East. It's going to be close, and I think the Blue Jays should win it. But it's going to be close. Central. Yeah, the Guardians probably have the best shot. You never know. Twins, usually they're terrible, but they're sneaky sometimes. And I don't even remember who else is in the
White Sox.
White Sox, yeah. Well, White Sox could have a good year. Tigers will be terrible. The West.
The Tigers right off.
Yeah.
And the Royals, Dave forgot they even existed, so he's writing them off too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Forget about that. Even though they did beat the Mets in the World Series that year, so I don't like them.
That feels like a really long time ago.
I know. Astros will win division in the West, and Mariners are going to be pretty good. I don't think they're not going to take down Houston, but wild card I think would be in their future. Rangers we talked about the other day aren't going to. They'll be okay.
Yeah, they feel like your classic, if they have a good last week of the season, they win 83 games. If they have a bad week, they win 78 games.
Right.
They feel like a 500 team that'll have some moments.
Right.
I think Victor Negron is dying for this Otani thing I just said. So, yeah, we can trade Donaldson Hicks for Otani all day.
Could happen.
The Central is kind of tough too, though, because I think Cleveland's probably the best team. I think Cleveland is really good. They're kind of like Tampa Bay, except they maybe have a few more recognizable names. I think they're really good. They could make a trade at the deadline, but they're just not going to spend big money. So if they have any big injuries, it's going to be tough. That's who I would pick to win the division, but the White Sox are super talented. They underperformed last year, so I think the White Sox have that capability to get things rolling, build that confidence, and perhaps make a postseason run. I do like the Royals in terms of some young players in their lineup, but they're not ready to win right now. I would suspect that, there's a 70-some win team. Tigers, they got a ways to go to rebuild. They have Javi Baez for quite a while still, so maybe they can build something before his contract expires. And in the West, like you guys said, it would be a huge upset if the Astros don't win that division. I mean, this has been the best team in baseball, one of the best teams in baseball for years. They ran right through the playoffs last year. I mean, it kind of in a way feels fortunate that the Phillies were able to win 2 games against them, and they were in a couple others and just kind of fell a little bit short. But Houston's incredible. I mean, they have a great rotation, very deep. They have a great bullpen, and they have a really good lineup. That people don't like them for various reasons, of course, but I know the Mariners are the darlings, and I think the Mariners will be in it. I think they'll be there in competition for a postseason run, but I find it hard to believe that they will overtake the Astros. And I'm not ready to write off the Angels as much as everyone else. I agree, right? This is a big year for the Angels franchise. Like, they have a lot of decisions to make, right? They can either at some point during the season, if they're playing really well, go all in and say the hell with the prospects. Like, this could be our last year with Shohei Ohtani. Do whatever we have to do to acquire whoever we can acquire to make that postseason run. Maybe if we make a run, we can convince him to stay. Or they could fall on their face, and next thing you know, there is a bidding war for Ohtani, because Ohtani would fetch a lot, even in a walk year, because you're getting potentially a top of the rotation starter and one of the better hitters in baseball. So you could rebuild big time. We'll see with Trout. I mean, he has a ways to go and he has a lot of money due. So even if he did want to leave, I feel like that would be more of an off-season type of move, but you never know. So the Angels certainly have some talent. But can they do enough?
And don't forget Anthony Rendon coming back.
They're kind of overdue to have a year where some things go right for them. Last year, their starting rotation, their pitching was actually not as problematic as it was in past years, even though pitching is usually what sunk them. Last year, their lineup was horrendous. Like, outside of Ohtani and Trout when healthy, their lineup was terrible. So we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll start to find out beginning tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the Rendon thing is going to really help them back. I think there's a lot of predictions of people are picking him as comeback player of the year. So a lot of things have to happen for like Rendon does have to win comeback player of the year. Tyler Anderson is a sneaky move to add. I'm not saying they're going to have a 92, 93, but to get that last spot, 85 wins, I think it's, very possible that, Shohei and Trout and Rendon and Logan O'Hoppe. Don't forget that name, Mike. Logan O'Hoppe at
former
catcher.
Phillies prospect.
He's starting at catcher. Phillies prospect is going to have a breakout year at catcher. And
not Mickey Moniak, though. He's starting.
No, not Mickey Moniak. No. Not Mickey Moniak.
He's still playing?
He had a couple home runs in spring training. I saw.
I watched him over the spring. He's making contact.
He was optioned to the minor league, so he'll start the year in AAA.
Right. But that last spot, I think, is going to be between the Angels, the Rays, and the Orioles. And one of those three is going to get the last spot. I'm going to go with the Angels because of Rendon and Tyler Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, I agree they have an opportunity. I might have to let me see if I can invite someone else in here because I want to give him a thought. If he's interested, I want to give him a chance to, get some things off his chest. And any specific players you're looking forward to seeing this year, Ray?
Trey Turner for the Phillies. I want to, obviously I'm really excited to see him at the top of the lineup because Kyle Schwarber is, although he hit 47 bombs or 48, whatever, is not a leadoff hitter. Trey Turner, he's not a power hitter, but he'll hit 20 some homers, but he can hit 300. He can get on base. He steals. He'll get 40 stolen bases, I think, this year. He scores runs. So I'm really excited to see Trey Turner in the Phillies uniform.
Let's hope he didn't use up all his bullets in the World Baseball
Yeah, I
Classic in
know.
spring
When you
training.
see, and then his first game with the Phillies in preseason, he hits a homer, and I'm like, all right, dude, just calm down. Just save it for the regular season. He's for the Phillies, he's a guy that I'm really excited. I can't wait for Harper to come back. But outside of the Phillies, like I said, the Blue Jays are, I don't know, man. The Blue Jays just look really ready to make a big move up this year. They're with Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero and Springer still on the team, I think. And
they have a fantastic lineup and some nice pitchers. So
Manoah could win a Cy Young. He's very capable. He's that Cy Youngish kind of a season. Although I don't have him winning the Cy Young in the American League, but he's a good pitcher.
Mike, the sports history collector, says teams whose season is over starting tomorrow: Pirates, Tigers.
That's a shame, man.
Staven Sports Cards, J-Ram is this year's Paul Goldschmidt. I could see it. I mean, Jose Ramirez has been in the MVP conversation in the past. He's really good, and he was off to a really, really good start last year, and then he sustained an injury, which slowed him down a bit. Palm Beach Sports Guard says Trevor Bauer turned down a contract from the Tigers because he was afraid it would hurt his reputation. Battery does think the new playoff format favors teams with the best regular season record. No doubt about that in terms of getting the bye. That does help a little bit, but sometimes as long as things line up well enough, sometimes winning those few games can get you on a roll a little bit. But, we saw it go both ways last year. The Phillies were the last team to get in and found their way right through the National League, and the Astros had the best record in the American League, got the bye, and, rolled right through the American League undefeated against the Mariners and the Yankees, even though the Mariners almost had him beat a couple times and just couldn't get a big hit.
Yeah, the Mariners are sneaky good. I mean, they were last year, so, and I expect them to continue. I don't think they were a fluke team last year.
Well, they've been building it up for a few years, slowly building, and they have a lot of guys that don't get a lot of attention, especially if you're looking at sports card wise, right? Like guy like J.P. Crawford, not super collected or anything, but like a really good player, a Gold Glove type of player, can get some big hits. So
Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, obviously he's kind of the big star, the new face of that franchise, but they have, solid pitching as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I mean, the Astros could have a World Series hangover.
Ray, you got any other predictions for us? I know you love to predict everything. I feel like you got award winners. Yeah, he's got award winners. He's got everything.
Yeah, let's do Rookie of the Year. People have been asking about MVPs and Cy Young.
There's a lot of candidates for Rookie of the Year this year.
Yeah, I'm going with the Orioles guy, Gunnar Henderson. And I said this last year when this guy came up with the Diamondbacks. Everybody was all over him. This is no surprise. Corbin Carroll should win the Rookie of the Year.
I don't
from the
know. A lot of people are
Diamondbacks.
jumping on the Jordan Walker train for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Jordan
So,
Walker.
I feel like ever since he made the team, that's all I hear is people picking him now. Rookie of the
Yeah.
Year, a lot of times, is kind of like whoever's been hot lately. George Kirby is very good.
That's another good pitcher. Yeah. Cy Young, I'm going with the Brewers. Corbin Burns. He already won one a couple years. I think he's going to win his second.
Is he a free agent after the season, or
I
does he have
think
1
so.
year? He might have a year left after.
Corbin Burns is really good, and that's what could keep the Brewers, in that race for the division or a wild card spot. It is because of Corbin Burns.
Yeah, him, Woodruff, and a really solid bullpen.
Yeah, but I have him winning the National League Cy Young, and I'm going with one of the Astros pitchers, not Framber Valdez, but Christian Javier for the American League Cy Young. That kid is really good.
I noticed, unfortunately, during the World Series.
Yeah, don't remind me.
The other day I was going through some boxes of stuff and I found like 6 Christian Javier rookies. So it's like, all right, it's not bad to find, but also like, why?
Yeah, we learned the hard way about Christian Javier. American League MVP, I'm going to go with a DH, Shohei. I think Shohei's going to win MVP. Yeah, he could win it as a pitcher.
I mean, you could easily make a case he could have won it last year if Judge didn't have the obviously historic season, the 62 home runs. I mean, Ohtani was right there. Obviously, Judge led in so many categories. He deserved to win it. He earned it for sure. And, obviously he helped the Yankees reach the postseason, which is another plus for him. But Ohtani certainly has that chance.
Yep. And National League MVP is going to be one of these two Padres. Ed's boy, Juan Soto, or Manny Machado. I think, I don't know. I have a funny feeling a year settled into the team with the Padres, Ed's going to love me for this. I'm going to pick Juan Soto to win MVP. Why? I think he's going to be more comfortable in the setting, and Machado is going to be right with him. I think that's why I got the Padres winning the West. Those two are going to be unbelievable to watch this year with a full year under their belt together. Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, they still have Musgrove.
It's going to be a nightmare lineup to face for sure. Like, it's just like those guys, if they're all
and Soto really
at the same time,
did, and to me, Soto did not have a good year last year. I was very underwhelmed. He was terrible. I thought he was terrible. I think he's going to hit around 300. I think he could hit like 36 bombs, over 100 RBIs. But I also have Machado having similar numbers, maybe a little bit better. So I have it real close between two Padres, Soto and Machado getting that MVP.
Machado was really, really good last year too, and he plays strong defense, of course. And he's just kind of under-heralded hobby-wise. I mean, obviously we're talking more baseball right now as opposed to cards, and we're not going to sit there and give our top 5 investment advice. But I do think like people just don't. Obviously, there's people out there who collect Manny Machado, but the numbers are lesser, and you just notice his stuff dollar-wise, like you can get his stuff at a pretty decent price compared to some other guys that are comparable players. So, and he's like well on his way to a future enshrinement in Cooperstown. Of course, got to stay healthy, got to do that, but he is well on his way.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great player.
You got any kind of predictions for individual player stuff you want to make, Dave, or any comments on Ray's picks?
No, I don't. I can't talk about Rookie of the Year because I just don't pay attention to the rookies, like all the prospects. So I have no idea who's coming up this year, who's going to be good. So
there's going to be a lot of guys with rookie cards in Series 2 and Topps Update. So eventually you'll have to add those to your database in the future.
Yeah, so I'll learn about them when they're actually up and they're good. That's usually how I do it. I will say American League Cy Young. if DeGrom's healthy, he's going to win it. And if he's not healthy, he's not going to win it. So
good call there, Dave.
Dave, he was my first pick was DeGrom, but because of the injuries, I went with my second choice, Javier.
He's unhittable.
Oh,
as long as he's pitching, and that's
incredible.
We'll see what happens. The one good thing in Texas is they're indoors. That's going to help them not being cold right in the beginning of the season, and then when it's super hot in Texas in the summer, he's still going to be in the air conditioning, pitching in 70-degree weather. So he stays healthy, he's going to win it. Ohtani, he might be my second choice to win that. And then MVP, I don't. It's a whole bunch of different people can do it. So,
and those contract years, like Ohtani, for whatever reason, whether it's motivation or desperation, it seems like in contract years, guys have crazy, crazy great years. So, not that Ohtani needs any extra motivation at all, but be kind of interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, I think he wins MVP this year easily.
On the topic of Jacob deGrom, you guys think he has any shot to reach the Hall of Fame? 2 Cy Youngs. Obviously, his compiled numbers are never going to reach your typical Hall of Famers, but like we said earlier, more and more they're going with the sabermetric stats. They're going with the dominance as opposed to just what you compile. I mean, he only has 82 career wins, which feels like nothing. But he has won 2 Cy Young awards, Rookie of the Year. If he can add another one or 2, if he can stay healthy enough, of course he is 34 at this point. Does he have a shot due to pure domination? How good he's been as opposed to how often he's pitched?
I think he wins 2 more Cy Youngs, and I don't think you can deny him. I mean, yeah, he don't have the wins, but of course, how many of those losses were 1-0, 2-1?
He doesn't have that many losses either. He only has 57.
Yeah, so it's
2.52 career ERA, so pretty strong.
Yes, I think he has to have a couple. He needs healthy seasons. He gets healthy seasons, and then I think he could make it. He'll get another Cy Young if he's healthy, and then I think it's gonna be tough. His win-loss ratio is gonna be pretty good.
Well, the only way I think DeGrom gets in, he would have to fall into that category of like how Sandy Koufax only had 6 great seasons. But then again, those 6 great seasons, his first 6 seasons were not good. His last 6 seasons were legendary good. But even Koufax finished with 175 wins and over 2,200 strikeouts. I think DeGrom's going to have even a hard time getting the Koufax numbers of 175 wins.
How many years did he sign with Texas for?
I don't know. I didn't even realize he was 34. I thought he was like 32.
I think it's like 5.
Yeah, that really hurts. 34.
Yeah, but he was a shortstop.
He does have 1,600 strikeouts, so I mean, he should hit 2,000 pretty easy.
I wouldn't be surprised he gets in because he pitched 3 or 4 more years and has 15 win seasons and gets, 120 wins, 2,200 strikeouts. They could go by the sabermetrics, what I call Jaws, which is that 7-year domination, which he has. He falls into that Koufax category. But he doesn't even, I think, have a chance to get to the Koufax numbers. But I really wouldn't be surprised if they make an exception on him because he's been that good. But he's not there yet. So
yeah, he obviously needs to have a good run in Texas. Let's say he signed for 5 years. I feel like he needs 4 really good years, and then you give him a year for injuries or whatever. You can't have like one pretty good year and then kind of fall apart.
And then have another injury the next year. He can't go like this, like 1 year good, next year he's injured. He needs consistently No, I'm not saying he needs to have 32 starts, but right now, if the Rangers are happy if they can get in the high 20s starts and with 25 starts, 26 starts instead of the usual 32, they'll take it. And if he gets 25 starts, he's very capable of winning
He might be
16,
20. He
17.
might be 20-1 with 25 starts with the ERA.
It's very possible. He's that good.
Yeah, because some of those years with the Mets, I think when he won the Cy Young, he was like 9-9.
Yeah.
With like a 1.3 ERA or something. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, he could be that Sandy Koufax type of player to get into the Hall of Fame, but not yet. I think he needs 4 more good seasons before his career's over.
I need that for my financial benefit too. So let's go with that. I need to move those DeGrom rookies before he gets hurt again. Back to those COVID numbers.
Well, I don't know if we're getting quite there, but
DeGrom was my first choice. He was absolutely my first choice for the American League. But I was like, man, can this dude stay healthy? And then I like Christian Javier. I also like Garrett Cole from the Yankees. I think people really don't look at Cole too much. He's an exceptionally really good pitcher. He was actually my third choice. What's that?
He has to have a really good year this year, I think.
Yeah. And I think he's going to have a really good year this year. He was my third choice. My 3 were DeGrom, Javier, and Cole.
Well, pitching, of course, is always about health, and it's a little more worrisome for guys like DeGrom who've just consistently had the issues, because it feels like he could be rolling. He could be off to an 8-0 start and has that one little thing that sets him back, and that can kind of snowball a little bit. So,
yeah, and it's such a shame because he is such a once every generational type of pitcher. Like when Dwight Gooden came up and Roger Clemens, like every 20 years you see that just unbelievable pitcher. Randy Johnson then was after that, and now you got DeGrom, and you want to see him pitch because he's that unbelievably dominating. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a full healthy year this year, but to have 4 healthy years is really tough.
All right, Ray, what else you want to get into? You have any other predictions baseball-wise? You got your
predictions,
World Series picks that you wanted to share, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Phillies will make the playoffs. I think they'll get into the wild card, they'll win the divisional round. But I just think that the Padres are, and I hate saying this, but I think the Padres are going to revenge the Phillies in the NLCS and get to the World Series.
That would be unfortunate.
Which would be suck. But I have it Padres and Blue Jays in the World Series. I really like the Blue Jays this year.
Ray's all in on the Blue Jays.
All on the blue. Yep, I like the Blue Jays. I like the lineup. I like Manoah. Solid lineup. I think Vladdy's going to, can have a better year.
Bo Bichette, hell of a player.
Yeah. Biggio, Bichette, Springer. It's good. It's a good team. But it's a long year. So many teams could come up out of nowhere. There's always a sleeper team. Like the Mariners last year were kind of the team out of nowhere.
Yeah, they were. Well, them and the Phillies had the 2 longest droughts in baseball of not reaching the postseason in each league. So they both ended it. So, you never know how things are going to shake out. And that's why they play the games, and that's why you should watch the games. Watch the games just so we don't have to listen to Ed yell at people for not watching the games.
And with the injuries, like we lost Hoskins in spring training.
And that's going to happen throughout the season. Teams are going to sustain injuries, and that can alter team seasons.
Right. I mean, you could have a team that, was predicted to go to the playoffs. They have a couple injuries, and then there's this other team that comes out of nowhere. It's such a long year. It could be totally different from the 6 that we have right now, be based on health. Health is the key every year. Health is the key. But yeah, I don't think though the Hoskins injury is going to affect the Phillies that much. With the guy that we have coming up behind him in Hall, I think offensively, power numbers wise, it's going to be relatively the same. So I'm not that concerned about the loss of Hoskins. But the pitching is always the key. But our bullpen's better with Kimbrel and Sir Anthony Dominguez, and it's Soto in the bullpen also is a big help. It's there's so many good teams. Like the Phillies have improved, but so did everybody else. I mean,
Well, baseball is loaded with stars. The quality of baseball players right now is incredible. I mean,
yeah.
if you're not watching baseball, you're missing out. Obviously we all have things to do. It keeps us busy. Watch the Phillies on a nightly basis. You have to miss an inning here or there.
I won't be watching any Philly games, I don't think, this year, so I'm good on that aspect of it.
Well, sucks for you. But being able to watch MLB Network, having games of the week, obviously you have ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, Fox has baseball, MLB TV. It's great to have T-Mobile. Get some free MLB.TV. Great value. So it's just fun to watch games as often as you can because there's so many damn good players. It's crazy.
The Braves lost Dansby
We're super spoiled, like with the quality.
Braves lose Dansby Swanson, but the guy that's coming in to take his place they're saying is really Vaughn. I think is his last name. Is really not going to. He's ready to step right in. So the talent level is just so deep across the board everywhere.
Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, and so people will know how to say names when they open packs. It can be challenging sometimes if you open some packs of Bowman and you get some of the prospects, the international prospects. It's like, what?
Well, you ever see in my videos, so I'll be going through some of the cards. If I say the last name, it's because I can't pronounce their first name. I'll say their first name every time. And they're like, and here's this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Mike, do you have a prediction for World Series?
Well, I was asked that on Big Scott's channel, and I had not thought of it at all. And I just came up with Astros, Padres, which, isn't exactly anything, earth shattering. So, I'm sticking with that at this point. But
yeah, on
hopefully,
paper, yeah,
I certainly hope to be wrong.
Yeah.
Subway
on paper,
Series.
The Astros look like
Subway Series this year.
I think the Astros are going to have a slight World Series hangover. I hope. I'm praying. And Altuve is hurt, so that could get them off to a slow start. So he's got a thumb injury or something.
Yeah, he was injured during the World Baseball Classic. Dave's looking at that Subway Series. I think there's potential there. If given the choice, though, who do you think's more likely to make it? I kind of feel like the Mets are a little more likely than the Yankees.
Too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Mets are.
Even though the Yankees theoretically, if they both reach the postseason, the Yankees would theoretically probably have the easier road outside of the Astros, who they've struggled with mightily. But I feel like the Mets might have to go through a few other teams, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It depends because neither are shoo-in to win the division. Obviously, Dave's expecting them to, but both could easily make the postseason and have to play in that first round game, which, of course, unfortunately, makes you susceptible to not even making the division series.
And it helps to have Justin Verlander. He's still mowing them down at his age too.
Yeah, it all depends on him and Scherzer. Can they be dominant? Scherzer just ran out of gas at the end of last year after his injury mid-year. He probably came back too soon too. They should have just kind of held him off.
Yeah.
So then I think, was it Carrasco that was hurt too at the end of the year, didn't pitch in the playoffs? I can't remember. Or did he come back at the end?
I don't know. I know Carrasco's had some problems physically the last few years, but when he's on, he's really, really good. Former Phillies prospect, actually traded for Cliff Lee way back in the day.
So who's the other starters besides Verlander and Scherzer? It's
right there in front of me.
Carrasco and
the Mets starters. They got the
do they have
from Japan?
Quintana?
No,
Is it Senga?
Senga. Yeah.
Him, and then probably David Peterson. I think he'll be the 5th.
Hopefully, since I drafted him in fantasy.
I know you took him right for I did. Dude, I used him last year. He was pretty solid for me in fantasy baseball. So pick him up, drop him.
Yeah.
Pick him up again, drop him.
Wearing out that waiver wire.
Oh yeah, three drops a week. Yeah, that happened every week.
Yeah, their starting is Scherzer, Peterson, Verlander, Senga, and Carrasco. Not bad, but the Phillies added Taijuan Walker, which I think is a help.
Well, can he have
a full season?
Walker was good last year for us, but he's never been great. So can he have another solid season? We'll see what he does. Maybe now that he's older, he just becomes a better pitcher. That'd be good for you.
Right. And that's all I think the Phillies are looking for. He's going to be their number 3. So if he's just good, that's all I think they're looking for from him. It's just 11 wins, under 3 ERA, maybe around 3. It's pretty good.
Well, if he's under 4, he'd probably be okay too. 3.5 is probably good enough. You just can't have the starters with a 4.50 ERA and
Right. Yeah,
all right,
it's going to be interesting.
Before we wrap this up, how about some hobby thoughts for 2023? Anyone, Ray, you're looking to collect? I know obviously you like doing your player runs of the Hall of Famers. You've been doing a lot of that, and you're always picking up the Hall of Famers and trying to fill in at your set registry and such. But any modern day players you're looking to buy or add to the collection or collect? Obviously, you like those Blue Jays. Are you secretly hoarding a bunch of Blue Jays rookies?
I want to pick up. I don't have any Julio Rodriguez, shockingly. So
tough time to buy Julio Rodriguez.
I want to pick up some Julio Rodriguez rookies this year, and I think Shohei's still a bargain right now. His price is still really. I mean, it's gone up, but for a guy that's a two-way player,
they're still well below what they were during the pandemic, and they're actually a little bit below what they were when he came out. And for how good
just amazing to me.
It's not. He's not cheap, but he's not crazy expensive. If you look for certain cards. If you're looking for a low numbered autograph from his rookie year, of course, it's going to be outrageous. But
I think he's definitely still a buy for sure. I mean, his Topps update or his Topps Chrome rookie, is a cheap buy right now for a guy that's a two-way player that we haven't seen since Babe Ruth. So, I'm all in still on the Shohei Ohtani. And
you have any Trey Turner rookies, Ray?
No, I'm looking to get his Topps Chrome, and that's another one because
he's been pretty cheap for a while. I don't know what he's
been very cheap.
I haven't been looking. I haven't looked it up. I have a few that I got back like out of packs back in 2016.
Yeah, you can get his Topps Chrome rookie in a 10 for under $100. Like it's like maybe $65, $70, which in a 10 is really good for a guy that his value in this market could be even better in Philadelphia compared to when he was in Washington. So,
well, you could probably still just pick one of those raw and still probably get a 10 out of them. I mean, especially the Chrome.
Yeah.
I guarantee he's a guy that was top loaded that year when he came out and has been sitting in a box for the last several years. Like he wasn't a guy that just doing your crap box, you know? So
Right.
Yeah, 2016, he was like one of the lower. He wasn't, like you said, a junk box, comment box guy, but it was like Kyle Schwarber was, I feel like, the main guy people were
Corey
chasing in
Seager.
2016. Him and Seager. Nola was probably above Turner, a little more recognition at the time. Hell, I got Trey Turner TTM back that rookie year. I was surprised. Like, I look back on it, I was like,
Wow.
it turned out to be pretty good. You wouldn't get him now, I'm sure, but
yeah, I guarantee you, they were sitting in a box of top-loaded rookies, just waiting for him to do something. And then now that he's kind of doing something, they're probably people pulling him out, going, "Let me see if I have one of these," and they're all in good condition. So you're good to go. Buy one raw, get it graded, and send it with JT or something, or SGC with Mike, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And if you send it to PSA, hopefully you get it back before his contract expires.
And Chrome, and Dave's right. Chrome cards are pretty easy to get. Well, they have been in the past to get in a 10. Chrome's not that difficult, really. So,
how about you, Dave? What are you looking forward to? Any guys you're trying to pick up? Any modern guys? Or are you still just hammering away at those 90s guys? Loading up on your Pat Burrell PC.
Yeah. I still need some Topps Tech Pat Burrell rookies. So
isn't he the year where there were like 26 different rookies or something?
Yeah, no, it's like, so I think there's 30 different versions of that card. And I got it on my spreadsheet, of course. And then I think there's also like a gold version of it too. So technically it's like 60.
That's a lot of Pat Burrell rookies.
Yeah. He's the only, so that I think in that year he had the most rookies. He was a big rookie of that, whatever year there's that 99, I think, or was that 88?
Yeah, he was coming off being the number one pick, so obviously it makes sense.
So I'm still working on my 90 stuff, and I'll pick up probably some Francisco Alvarez for the Mets, and then obviously I'll end up opening some packs throughout the year and just kind of see what rookies I get. And
maybe you get some bargains at the National. Maybe I can actually break some wax again for the first time in a few years.
Probably not.
Do your annual Ginter break.
That'd be great. I would love to do that. It was too expensive last year. Or it wasn't even out last year, was it?
No, it was all delayed. Everything was delayed. But I have even though products are still expensive, there's more stuff that's closer to what it had been as opposed to the last couple of years. Prices
I need those 2016 national prices again. So
I don't know that we're getting quite that.
$35 box of Donruss football and $50 box of Topps Platinum. But I doubt we're there. As long as I don't do any Chrome baseball during the National, I'll be okay. That's usually my big disappointment.
Yeah, probably best off staying away from that. I don't even think actually this last National, I think that was delayed enough too that it wasn't even out. It was like the National. It was a tradition for years to blow way too much money on a jumbo box of Topps Chrome and walk away with
Yeah.
Well, last year they took that choice away from us, thankfully.
I did hit. Now that's a couple years later, I did hit the Ohtani base Chrome in that box I bought, so that kind of probably paid for itself. Because it is a 10, so that kind of worked out for me. Now, the rest of it didn't work out for me. But
is that the Topps Chrome pitching?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
whatever his base was, I think it's pitching. Yeah,
he's pitching in a base.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't hit any cool short prints or nothing. Usually I do pretty good in the Ginter boxes though. That's usually my go-to at the National. I always hit something pretty good.
Got that Harper the one year. You got some other good stuff. What else did you get? What'd you get a couple years ago?
I got the gold. I got the gold box. Everything was the gold parallel, the hot box. Yeah. And then I hit the 101 printing plate in there. And
who was that? I can't remember.
This is Goose Gossage. Oh, Catfish Hunter, I think.
Yeah, I remember it was like a lower end Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I sold it for like $35. So, that makes up most of the box. I sold all the gold, all the gold base minus the rookies for, I think, another 30. So, and I got like a Hall of Fame relic in there and another Met relic. So, didn't really spend too much on the box after I sold some stuff in there.
Yeah, you got to break the box, have some fun, have those memories, sell some stuff, keep some stuff. It all worked out.
Right.
Yeah, I think that first year when I broke the Gintar, you hit the Harper autograph, and I got that Val Kilmer shirt relic. That was pretty cool. So win-win.
Never know what you're getting at again, Val Kilmer relic.
Oh God.
All right.
What is the top product? Is this always still top Chrome or
this year? Who knows? They've been very quiet announcing stuff. They legitimately have only announced a couple products. They're taking their time with it. In the past, they would like announce 8,000 things.
Mm-hmm.
To this point, they've come out with Top Series 1. Obviously, some of their on-demand products. Topps Big League comes out in the next few days, which is kind of replacing opening day as the low-end intro collector type of product. And that's loaded with rookies this year. They're still releasing 2022 stuff. There's still stuff coming out from 2022. Hell, just today they released 2021 and 2022 Bowman Heritage. So they're still a little behind. But Bowman went on pre-sale a few days ago. So that's coming out April 26th. Usually by now, Topps Heritage would be out. There's kind of no word on that. Is it even being produced this year? Who knows? But people still chase Topps Chrome. They love the rookies. They love the rookie autos. It's gotten to the point where it's unwise to break. I mean, sure, you break a few blaster boxes for fun. It's not going to kill you, but like the hobby boxes, jumbo boxes are so expensive, and the return on that is usually pretty poor. So,
yeah, we'll see. I already look for 3 different products, and none of them are like base stuff. I need to see when Tribute's coming out, Tier 1, and then 5 stars always. So that's all I'll be looking forward to.
Yeah, 5 stars nice.
5-star and Tribute, both exceptional products for autographs. Tier 1, they have some nice stuff too, but I feel like it's a step behind the other two. Well, you get the bat knobs, right? You can get in there.
Yeah. Well, they always have a nice Tier 1 always has nice, like a bunch of retired guys that are not normally in like some of the bigger products. So I can grab some of them pretty cheap and then just add in my collection that way.
No doubt. Well, we're going to wrap things up shortly. Before we do, Ray, why don't you promote your Hall of Fame network? Tell some of the people out there watching either live or archived about what you're doing with that.
Yeah, so I have this network with Mike, this baseball card life, Victor, rookie card specialist, called the Sports Card Hall of Fame Network. As you guys know, I do the Baseball Card Hall of Fame every year, and this year we had our first class for the Football Card Hall of Fame, which I have Scott of Scotty Tradition and Bart's Cards running the Football Card Hall of Fame, and all that's collaborated into the Sports Card Hall of Fame Network. So with Baseball Hall of Fame coming up in the summer, we're hoping to expand now into hockey, having a hockey card Hall of Fame and a basketball card Hall of Fame. Right now, we're just going through some of the potential committee people to run hockey card Hall of Fame and a basketball card Hall of Fame, but it's been a lot of fun so far. Yeah, so the Sports Card Hall of Fame has been up now for quite a few months. We got videos on there. We're trying to keep up with content with videos on there discussing, all the cards that have been inducted into this Hall of Fame for baseball. And this year was a really fun turnout for football to see the first class. It was a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to expanding and adding hockey. And you'd be surprised. I see a lot of videos I've noticed since I've been kind of paying attention for the Sports Card Hall of Fame Network about hockey and basketball. And I've been seeing a lot of people showing hockey cards for the past few months. So anything to just like get people to collect and be in the hobby, not just about baseball, uh, is a lot of fun. So yeah, we're looking forward to keep on keeping on and moving on and adding more sports cards to the Hall of Fame. We have all these different kinds of Hall of Fames.
Yeah, there's certainly plenty to collect in just baseball, but then you start expanding football, basketball, hockey, non-sports, of course, now is really big. Eventually, Ray, you'll have to do a non-sports card Hall of Fame. That stuff's like crazy popular now. Um, Tons to collect. Dave, you got your spreadsheets you're working on. I know you did some videos on those. Have you made those available to others? I know
Yeah,
you
so
were talking about it, right?
they're actually all I have them all on Etsy. I have an Etsy store where you can download spreadsheets from there. Sports Card Sheets is the store name, and I got my football and baseball full master sheet. So yeah, if anybody even just looking for one player, like say it's Otani, and you need to get all his rookie cards in a spreadsheet, it's on the sheet, all marked, every set, every parallel, all the numbering. I mean, those sheets are loaded, and they go from beginning of football and baseball cards up through, I think football's up to 2021, completely filled out, and then baseball's up to 2020, and then I have them on. Actually, I only have them down to $20 now for the full sheets, and I do have some of the other the Atani one, the 2018. I have that as a single sheet for like $4.99. I have my 80s rookies up there as a single sheet for like $3.99 or $4.99, same as football. And I actually added a T206 master sheet on there as well. So I got a couple different spreadsheets up on Etsy, and hopefully some will start selling. Like I said, even if you just you need one checklist for a rookie card, you might as well just buy the whole sheet because it has everybody, all the top rookies, including some prospects. I don't know all the prospects, especially the newer ones coming out. So I kind of just took who I think are supposed to be some of the top guys, and I have those on there. But it's really easy to edit the sheet and add the guys you want, and just go on the trading card database and just put a yes in the cell that they're in that set, and then just start knocking them off. And you can edit the sheets to whatever copy you have. So like it has a little color coordination. If you have a raw copy, just type in raw in that cell and it turns yellow, and that's your raw copy, and easily you can see what you have, what you don't. So I know I use it for my collection. It works out great. So
yeah, I probably should have started tracking my collection years and years ago. Instead, I just have boxes of stuff everywhere.
Well, I am working on a new one. We'll see how long it takes me, but since I have the rookie stuff, it's shouldn't be too long. And I'm gonna have just like a blank template of every set made for baseball, and then I'll probably start a football one too. So even all your oddball stuff you have, it'll all be on there.
So that's a whole lot of sets.
Yeah, but I've already done most of them. So like most of the newer sets that are really super long, I mean, I think I'm looking at like 2,000 lines on those rookie card sets, which if I took them, didn't put some on the right, there would be actually like probably 4,000 lines. Those are most of the sets all rookies. So, and the inserts that have no rookies in them, it won't be that long for me to do it, since I already have all the information.
Well, definitely a good resource for collectors. You guys should check it out who are watching either the archive or watching live. And, if you're looking to add anything to the collection, you can always check out Myco Card Shop on eBay. 22,000 plus listings right now. So I've been quite busy, and more to go. So I have that link in the description. I should link your guys' stuff too. Guys, send me over the links after we're done, and I will link it to the archive. So anyone watching, if you guys want those stores or Ray's other channel, you can check it out.
Yeah, real quick. So if you go to my channel, I have the video on both the baseball and the football rookie sheets. You'll kind of have a brief glimpse of what it does. And then, like I said, for $20 to get every single top rookie card listed is pretty good. So, yeah. Watch the video and go to Etsy.
Support Dave's midlife card crisis. Ray from Philly. We appreciate everyone watching. Dave, Ray, appreciate you guys hanging out a little bit. Got to do this more often. Been in like a YouTube rut for a really long time. Just so busy all the time. Obviously, I do my live sales on Tuesday nights, kind of have that fit into that set schedule. And I do as many videos as I can. I get at least one a week. Sometimes I get on a roll. This week I've had videos like 4 or 5 days in a row, and I actually have one tomorrow in the next few days. But
Cool.
sometimes we'll go cold for a little while too. So it's a busy life sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Opening
definitely-
day, man. I'm psyched.
opening day, one of the absolutely great days of the year. Super looking forward to it. Looking forward to the entire season. Looking forward to collecting
Yes.
stuff. Love collecting the old vintage stuff, the oddball stuff, the stuff from my youth in the 80s and 90s, but also love
Yep.
collecting the new stuff too. So I look forward to new products. I look forward to, seeing how things roll out this year, watching the games. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll see Ray at some local shows coming up. I know I'll be seeing Dave for our yearly hangout at the National in Chicago. Appreciate everyone watching as always. Comment below. Let us know what you think, and we will talk to you next time. Have a great one. Go Phillies. Boom
Go
Mets.
Mets.
See you guys.